Okay, hello everybody. This is Helen Vermillion, and I teach at the Dorothy Benson Senior Services Center. And this is our last class for the 4-week session on weaving clay. Today, we are not weaving the clay. We're just making something that might look like it's woven. So I'll show you what I've done. Now, before we done the woven, and last week I did the weave and kind of roll and flatten out the coils. That came out really nice. So this is a very, very thin, what is it? Thin piece. It's over a mixing bowl. And I had to take it off and put more oil on this because I just have a hard time with oil. But anyway, it's trying not to stick to the bowl. And it's very, very thin. It's about, let's see. It's about 1/8. Yeah, 1/8 of an inch, or actually maybe tiny bit more. Yeah, between 1/8 and 3/16. So between 2/16 and 3/16. And usually if you do this kind of piercing, a lot of it, you take like a, you would have it off your mold, and then you would take a very sharp X-Acto knife and cut out the pieces, okay? But I'm trying something different here. You can buy these little, it's like cutter pieces, okay? Some are like flower shape, circle, leaf. Let's see, I think I even have a star somewhere. Here's a little star shape. And I think I found this in the polymer clay section. They have all these little tiny cutout things. And instead of cutting out each square with X-Acto knife, I decided to do this. Now, I did make marks. I don't think you can see it, but I've got linear marks, and I did make those kind of marks. However, since we've got a round shape and we've got a square shape, it's not really going to fit correctly. So this one's not going to be perfect. If you were doing the X-Acto knife method, you can make the, you can cut them out so it fits perfectly. So I've got like a wedge here, and that's going to start to give me problems, I think. But this isn't perfect, but I'll show you what I'm doing. Let's see. And it's still kind of stuck. Yeah, I put extra oil on here. But okay, what I'm using is paper clay. It's clay that's still fired, but there's paper pulp mixed in it. And it's supposed to give strength. I've never done it before, so this is kind of like my first time. And that's why I cut this out. I mean, I rolled this out real thin. So what I'm going to do is just press this in here, and we'll see if this survives. Okay, some of this is like really thin. Okay, get this out. And the pieces I cut out, I'm going to keep it separate. I'm not going to recycle it with the rest of the clay because it has a lot of oil on it. And I'm not sure how that's going to work. I don't know if you can like, so right here, it's like becoming a super wedge, and it's supposed to work out, but I'm obviously not mathematically inclined. So it's kind of off center in some places, but that's okay because I've got other shapes I can just squeeze in there. And okay. Now this paper clay, it feels a lot different from regular clay, and it seems to take longer to dry, probably because there's paper in there. You can make paper clay, but it's a lot of work. So I just went, yeah. You can Google online, and they'll tell you the proportions and all that. So if you want to try it, you could, but I think it's a lot of work. It does seem to, well, this one is actually porcelain paper clay. And this one actually goes up to cone 6. I have another one that's white stoneware that goes up to cone 10. And it's basically recommended for hand building. And it has a lot of grog in it. This one is porcelain, so it doesn't have any grog in it. But it does feel like there's something in there that gets in the way of carving. But it's not bad at all. So I'm just kind of, doing this, and this is not, like perfect, but that's okay. In fact, can't fit I may have to use a different shape. I've got a triangle here. That might be fun to use. Okay. I'll use a triangle. And I hope these very, very thin pieces are going to survive. I'll try my darnest to do that. Because it's cone 6, I'll have to glaze it with my cone 6 commercial glaze. Okay. Because I've got oil on here, this is like really delicate. I don't know if it's going to come off the form easily. One of the things I could do is squirt either oil or water in those holes and see if, but I kind of need it to stiffen up too. So I don't know what's going to happen here. So first time. But it's kind of cool, it's not exactly woven, but it kind of gives you that basket look appearance. So one more thing to get interested in, Marcia.
Oh, terrific. I like this. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, but I think I think it probably just, you might be able to do a regular clay, but you can't make it so thin, okay? I did it real thin on purpose because I'm trying to see. I did order a book on paper clay, but it's not going to be here for a long time. But I wanted to experiment, see how strong it see if it's going to survive, basically. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question.
Mhm.
Why would you use an X-Acto knife and cut all those little squares out when you can use your cutter thing?
Because of this is a round design.
Yes.
If you do an X-Acto knife, what happens is you can actually draw all the grid marks. And then I think these squares will be smaller, and then the squares will get larger and larger, I think. Do you know what I'm saying? You're trying to put a grid on top of a circular sphere. Like the world map, when you unroll it, you flap. Yeah, kind of that kind of thing is what I'm thinking. I think if you're a perfectionist, you can do the X-Acto knife method, but I'm not going to sit here and do the X-Acto knife method. Now, if you're going to do the X-Acto knife method, then you're going to have to not have it on the form. You might either hand build it or throw it on the wheel and let it, become almost leather hard. And then you have to do the tedious task of cutting each hole with X-Acto knife.
Never mind.
That's why I thought I should try this, because I thought this might be a lot easier. You just can't get a perfect fit. Yeah. I don't know what kind of metal this is. I guess it's stainless.
Aluminum.
No, I don't think it's aluminum. But I think you can take like a thick aluminum can and make some. You might be able to make some of these guys yourself, because it looks like it just press form. Okay, I've got this so far. I don't know if this is going to survive. All right. Now I've got to fill in those spaces. And some I was able to fill some of it. I don't know what happened over here, but like I said, I'm not mathematically inclined, so I might as well take advantage of this and put some other designs in here. So let's see, what shall I do here? It's going to be kind of off. I know I'll do this first. So this is what happens when you put a grid on them. These areas get wider and wider. Okay, the square stays the same, but there are some people who do this, and it's you know, I think it's just really hard because you have to be exact. I'm going to use the star because I don't know what else to do here. I'll put some stars there. And, but these little cutout things are fun to have. You can make those little, you can probably make a tiny pinch pot and go in, you know. Try to make it out of porcelain and make it as thin as possible, maybe. Okay, right here is totally not even, but that's okay. Let's see, let's give it some more stars. These guys are real tiny, so it's kind of hard to grab them. Okay, I've got that much done so far. Let me take these out. And it'll be awesome if this survives.
It'll look so cool.
And even if it survives, it's probably still going to be delicate, you know? Even after it's fired. Because the clay areas are so thin. Clay is so much fun to work with. Okay, so that's what I have. Oops, I didn't take these out. Okay. Very delicate. I don't know how, I'm just really gonna have to see, it's just kind of, I don't know why I have the worst time with oils. Ooh. Okay, I'll just leave it like this. Okay, we'll let this dry and see if it survives, you know? That'd be cool, huh, if it does. We could do a whole bunch of stuff like this. I have a feeling it's a little bit too thin between the squares. You know, maybe thicker. You can always use a bigger square thing. Well, that one's way too big, isn't it? Yeah, but if you had a bigger one, then you can leave the in-between places a lot thicker. And we'll see what happens with that one. Okay. Now I've got a bunch of this oily clay left. And we'll see what I can do with this. Okay. And this paper clay seems to dry out real fast. I'm going to have to get some water to put in here. feel like I'm cooking something here. Maybe, that bread, that tool that you use for cutting up dough pieces, might work. Oops, got water all over. Okay, so these pieces have oil in them, so I don't know how they're going to act. I mean, of course, the oil burns out, but while you're making this stuff, I don't know if the oil is going to be in the way or what. But I'm going to try to reconstitute this. And I've got some hard pieces in here. Okay, so okay, I'm going to have to use this later because this needs to be recycled really good. Okay, now I'm going to take, I have this stoneware paper clay, and I'm going to use that. I think I'll use that unless I have B-mix. I have a little bit of the B-mix left. I'm going to use this up. I've got too many different types of clay here. It's driving me crazy. Okay. So I'm going to try that coil thing again. Remember, not the curly coily thingy, but I'm going to weave the coils, but I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to roll it because I think that looked pretty good. And I broke the one that I had made. So must redo. Now you can slice your pieces. I'm going to make the coils because I think if I make rectangular slice pieces, it's probably not going to be that exciting when I flatten them out. Might not be that interesting. So what I'm going to do is weave this on the fabric on the table, and then I'm going to drape it over a bowl. I'll weave it on the table, flatten it out, and then drape it over the bowl. So my coils are going to have to be a little bit on the not so thin side. And if you roll out the woven thing, you can also make the little holes, the spaces in between the coils smaller. So if you decide to use it as a berry bowl for like blueberries, things won't fall through the holes. It looks like the weather is turned rainy.
It's supposed to rain all rest of the week.
Oh, bummers.
Yeah, especially if there's that thing on Saturday.
I think it's sunny on the weekend, isn't it?
Doesn't say so on the weather thing.
Oh, it doesn't? Ooh,
Nah,
I don't want to do it in the rain.
no, that's no fun.
Nope. Okay, so we got that much. Yeah, this coil rolling is going to take a while, isn't it? Now, what I'm tempted to do is I'm thinking about putting it on this thing with the ginkgo leaf, and I wonder if it's going to pick up some of the ginkgo leaf imprint. It might. Okay, so I need to remember I have to weave it on the table and then flatten it and then transfer it to the mold. Are you working on something while I'm doing
No,
this?
I'm watching you.
Oh, you should work
I
on.
like to.
Yeah, but you should work on something too. It's fun to watch somebody make stuff, you know that?
I'd like to watch you.
It's really weird, but sometimes it's just fun to watch somebody make stuff.
It's inspiring.
That's good. There's all kinds of things people do with clay. It's really fascinating. I can't keep up with the latest trends. Because I'm more of a make stuff, build stuff, not really so much screen print on it or that kind of thing. Okay, they're not all the same. That might be interesting too. We'll see what that looks like when it's done. So I'm hoping this pierced basket thing is going to work. It looks pretty cool. Okay, I might have enough for now. Okay, now I need to weed these. So I've got the long ones here. Oh, I need to put it on fabric so I can transfer it, I think, yeah. That means, what did I do with the fabric? Oh, here. Probably don't have enough rolled out. Some people might have an extruder that, so if they do a whole lot of this weaving stuff, that was speed
Like-
things up.
Like for a pasta machine?
It's for clay and it's pretty. I think you have to, well, I think you have a handheld one, but usually it's one that's attached to the wall. And those are usually big, but I'm sure they have a smaller one now. Maybe about this size, I'm not sure. And you can extrude handles, in different shapes. Meaning
Yep.
will come out differently. But it's just another gadget, and I think I have enough gadgets. I don't need another one. It's kind of good to learn with very few gadgets.
Mhm.
I think nowadays people think you have to have all kinds of tools to do stuff, but when I was learning all this, we really didn't have anything. We did have an extruder. I mean, we actually didn't even have an electric kiln. It came in to the classroom later on. It was like a new thing. So everything was gas kiln. And we didn't have all these fancy tools, And like I said, some of us just made tools out of bamboo or whatever, if we wanted one. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to roll this with a rolling pin. It's going to be fun. So it's not that big right now, but I'm hoping, I bet you those gaps are going to fill up. Maybe I better give it a little bit more space. And when I roll this, the whole thing's going to be thinner, okay? It's not going to be a big chunky kind of, whatever we're calling this basket, yeah. And it should stay pretty moist and soft. That's not gonna give me much, but we'll try it with that. And I am going to actually spritz this so that all the clay pieces will stick together. Just a little bit. Now, we need something like, I think I'm gonna have to use a paper towel. Okay, I'm not sure if I can, if my rolling pin was wrapped in canvas, I could do that. Well, I'll try it with this way. I'm gonna go from the center out, okay? And do a little bit at a time. You see it's sticking to my rolling pin. Oops. And that way you can watch and see how much you flattened out the coils. Okay, now I'm going to go in because it pushes the clay inside and try different angles. What I'm trying to do is make the spaces, the holes smaller. So this helps move the clay around a little bit. Okay, filling in the holes pretty good. All right, that's it's become like one solid piece soon if I keep going. So that's what it looks like right now, okay?
Mhm.
And then, see if I can put this on here. Oops. Okay, it's not exactly centered. Okay, I didn't have enough. But this is a test piece, so we'll see what happens. A lot of my stuff are test pieces, and I end up not having made anything. So once again, a plaster mold is probably not ideal because I'm using this fettling knife to cut off the end, and I might accidentally chip the plaster and get some of that plaster in the clay, which is not a good thing. Okay, so once again, I could have put a ring around here, but I just wanted to see. It picked up the fabric pattern too. It's kind of cool. Okay, I'm just gonna press it gently, okay? Okay, so that's what it looks like on the outside. And I actually kind of like, it's hard to tell on here. I actually got, but I'm losing a lot of definition. I rolled it, flattened it too much. I'm actually going to take this off because this is just a test piece and see if it picked up any of the ginkgo leaf print. A little bit, yeah. See, this mold doesn't have enough of a deep line, so it kind of picked up a little bit of the print, not that great. Okay, so I'm gonna have to redo this because I flattened it so much I lost a lot of the line definition. And you know what? I'm just gonna keep rolling it, see how far it's gonna go. See how long it takes to see what happens. Okay, it's nothing exciting. It just smashed it into that. Okay, so you have to roll it, and at a certain point, you have to stop, or else you'll lose all those coil definitions. Yeah, that's about it for the basket, you know. The only other thing I can show you is how to make it. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but how to make it look like you have knit fabric with coils. Let me see if I can show you that.
Hey, Helen, does the dishwasher weaken a piece?
Sometimes it does. It, you know, it just depends on the clay and but usually it should survive. Once in a while, you'll hear about a piece that, got funky in the dishwasher, and maybe the glaze just doesn't like it or something. These are handcrafted things, so,
Yep.
stuff like that happens, yeah. Okay, so we just have, two coils, okay? And then you just twist them, all right?
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, now the fun part is, I'm gonna do another one. Now your coils really need to be wet, okay? You put them together like this, and then let me do a couple more, and it's gonna start looking like knit. I mean, of course, my coils aren't the same even thickness. Looks like I knitted with yarn that, like have different thickness when it got spun. So this isn't exactly weaving, but it's knitting. How's that? Pretend knitting. Okay, and then you just keep piling it on. It would help if it was even, but it starts to look like knit. Okay, so I don't have it all even coils, but see how it starts to look like knit fabric?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's easier to just make a texture plate that's knit. But if you want to make a handle or something, this would be a cool way to do it. Like on a basket or something, Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, that's about it.
Okie dokie.
Written early today, and let's hope that pierced basket thing makes it. I'm hoping the paper plate is going to be strong enough and it's going to survive, but we'll just push it to its limit and see what happens.
Is that a cone 6 fire?
That is paper clay, that's porcelain, and yes, that one's cone 6, and let me show you what it looks like. You don't get much, and it is pricey. It's probably about double the cost, but it just comes in like a bowl of ham or something. Okay, with local bread. You don't get much. You can also go on Davin's site and look at the, I forgot what this one is called, what company. Let's see, what company is this? Well, it says Cellulane, so that's the one I got. And this one only goes to cone 6. And then you get the 25 pound. I can't get the bag, but I've got a 25 pound. It looks gray, but that's paper clay, but that goes to cone 10 stoneware. So I wanted to try cone 10 stoneware and use the chastain glazes, the gas fired glazes. And then but the porcelain is the one that you can, it's going to come out pure white. So that's why I got that one too. Okay.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you're welcome. And I hope you make something, Marcia.
I hope I do too.
Yeah, get busy. All right. So
All right,
we'll see
maybe I'll see you
again.
Saturday, maybe.
Yeah, okay. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye-bye.